Hey everyone, welcome to Money Wire Work. We're going to go through some of my watch lists today, but first I just want to look back at something I said about SPY a couple days ago. I could easily see this hitting this 200 moving average right here, if not the 100 here. I feel like it's a little too close with this high volume to just hit the 50. I feel like it might go through the 50. All right, so as you can see, basically it did go right through the 50, which is what I was talking about. There was such a high amount of degree of upside there that I feel like a lot of people that wanted to trade this saw this as a good entry point. So that's why the next couple of days we can continue to see this uptrend. Basically, right now we are going through the 200 moving average and we're approaching this 100 moving average. So as we approach this 100 moving average, this could be a potential signal of going to a downturn. So either what we're looking for is a down and then right back up, which would be a really awesome entry point, or you're going to hit a bounce, maybe even a couple bounces, bounce, and then back down. And if you see that bounce, or just a bounce and go right back down, that could be really good for an entry position. You also can't forget about the TSI right down here. So if you see this come back down and turn red, basically that's another signal that we might be turning downwards. We can turn this on once again to the Heikin-Ashi candles, and let's turn to the weekly time frame, and then let's start getting into this watch list here. So first I want to bring up, we already talked about SPY. We can talk about TQQQ. So this is also something that's going to be trading very similar to SPY, but it's going to have more volatility. So you're going to see basically the same thing as SPY. But right now, we've had a lot more on the downtrend on this side. So we're a little bit under on this one. We can look at the Nasdaq. And we look at the Nasdaq on the weekly. I have this line here acting as a resistance level. It's approaching that resistance level, so we'll see what happens. Could bounce through. If it bounces through the green MA line, we're looking for a bounce and then a continue back up. We can go to Tesla. Now Tesla is showing something really promising on the weekly right now. So as of right now, we technically are starting a blue moving average line right here. We have the green line on the TSI. We are really underbought right here, so we're looking for an inflection up to the upside, and we're looking for this blue right here. So if you are looking at Tesla, give it a little bit more on the weekly, and see where it's at. So Mara, if you don't know what Mara is a Bitcoin mining company. High volatility right now. I have the log on, but if you turn the logarithmic scale off right now, you can see this high volatility. So we're looking for a bounce, come back down, and a bounce up again. It's the same thing. Hut is another Bitcoin mining company, something to look at as well, but it doesn't quite have the volume that Mara does. Mara is just a little bit more known. If you go down to Facebook, which is also now known as Meta, it's not showing any sign of a reversal, although a lot of value investors right now are looking at Facebook and Meta as a really good play. Their financials are doing really well right now. I'm more interested in the trading aspect, not necessarily the long-term investing aspect, but I do pay attention to some of the people that are invested in long-term, and they are really liking Facebook right now. So if that's something you're interested in, I suggest you do your homework on that. AMD is another popular one among traders. It sort of became like a meme stock a little bit back in the day. It still is kind of considered a meme stock. It's got high volatility. Once this gets over this top red Bjorgum line, I'm going to be looking to enter in that because there's a high amount of volatility in there. Twitter right now I've been staying away from just because of the whole thing with Elon Musk and the whole lawsuit and everything. I don't know what's going to go on with that. I haven't really been tracking it enough to look into that. So I've been watching it, but I've been kind of keeping it on the side. Snapchat was something that I was trading back in the day when it was on this uptrend. I haven't really looked at this since it started its downtrend, although it would have been a really good short to look at. Caterpillar. I was following Caterpillar for quite a while because of this. I also saw this cup and I was looking for it to kind of come up and then do a cup and handle, which would have been something interesting, but it just couldn't quite get past its previous highs. So we're watching that right now. Visa is another one of those stocks that people are looking at as far as a long-term investment. But if you look at it from a trading perspective, it's kind of just going sideways, slightly down for a while. It's bouncing off of these moving average lines, and it can't really get quite past that. However, it actually hasn't been going down considering the rest of the market. So what that could tell you is once the actual market comes back as a whole, Visa could be really something that you could look at for a trade. And we're looking at something to come up like this right here to kind of go up as a cup and handle. Coca-Cola is interesting because it has actually been doing pretty decently as far as the whole rest of the market is concerned. But from a trading perspective, it's just kind of been going sideways. You got one strong green candle right here, but it didn't really result into anything. We could look at Apple too, because Apple is a big one that a lot of people trade. Now this is looking like a pretty good entry if you just be a little patient on it. And again, usually patience is better. So you could play this for sure. You can even start to scale in, but again, you want to look at that downturn. You want to see a little bit of those green candles. You can even see the TSI turn down a little bit and then come back up on the upswing would be something that you really want to look into and buy. Costco's been doing also again pretty well considering the rest of the market. It's on a pretty strong uptrend right now. Again, everything is depending on SPY, depending on inflation, depending on the Fed, but from a technical analysis standpoint, this is something that I would actually be pretty interested in. If we just go down to some of the cryptocurrencies right now, I kind of just put these on my list just for the heck of it, but I don't really trade Shiba that much. At least, especially right now, I want to stick to things like Ethereum and Bitcoin. Those are the safest ones right now. Ethereum has a pretty strong uptrend. If you look at the 1 day, it's showing blue. It's been showing blue on the TSI for a while, but it's still below all of these moving averages. So it's got a ways to go before we look at anything else. As far as Ethereum, we can go back to the weekly here quick. We can look at Dogecoin again just for the heck of it. I don't really trade Dogecoin, but I like to follow it. It's kind of interesting to see people diamond hand Dogecoin. I don't know why they're doing that, and maybe we'll get into that a little later in another video. But right now, that's not something I'm really interested in. Crow is interesting because whenever there actually is a solid bounce off of Bitcoin and Ethereum, it actually does pretty well. So that's something to pay attention to, except on this latest one right here. I don't know if people are just staying out of altcoins right now. I personally, for the most part, staying out of altcoins. Although I do have some Crow, and I just have it staked, and I'm just basically taking advantage of the staking, but I don't have too much into there. We can take a look at one more here. I guess we can take a look at ADA. Now, I did actually trade this right here for ADA because this was a play off of the smart contracts, and I sold before, which I'm guessing is this candle right here, which is the launch of the smart contracts, because after the launch of the smart contracts, it started the steady decline. So that's one thing that you want to also pay attention to, is if you're playing an event, you're playing a catalyst, you want to get out before the catalyst. Which is similar to like Dogecoin. You can look at this candle right here. This was the Saturday Night Live candle. You want to get out either on this candle or before it. If you like this content, you want to see more, please like, subscribe, and comment. I really appreciate it.